Dear friends, if you read the Bible, you can easily get that impression that biblical religion is largely about us against them. All of them, whoever them could possibly be. So it is the Hebrews against the Egyptians and Israelites against the Philistines and Canaanites, the Jews against the Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians and Greeks. Frankly, it continues even through the New Testament Greek Christian Bible. Christians against the Jews, against the pagans, against the heretics. That is intentional projection. That is how it was written, in confrontational tone. But there are also many indications that the reality behind and around was more complex. That it hasn't always been like this intolerant. A number of indications are hidden directly in the biblical text, and some are coming from outside, from ancient sources. One such document is an ancient papyrus scroll called Amherst 63. It appeared in early 20th century in Egypt and was purchased by Lord Amherst, ended up in Great Britain, and eventually found its way to Morgan Library here in New York City. And it took more than a century before it was deciphered, because it was written in Egyptian Demotic script, but in Aramaic language, and probably copied by someone who did not fully understand the text. It is a scroll of predominantly Semitic prayers, Syrian, Babylonian, and interestingly also Jewish. One of that prayers is almost word for word identical with the biblical Psalm 20. I said almost because it is not exactly word for word. And the biggest difference is that it is not monotheistic. It mentions, of course, God Yahweh, Tetragrammaton, and its pious form, Adonai, used until today in synagogues. But besides Hebrew God, it also mentions God Bethel and Baal of heavens and his holy mountain, Zaphon. And even the name Yahweh, Tetragrammaton, is in this document written down using Egyptian ideogram for Egyptian god Hor. And among scholars there is a lively and ongoing discussion. What was the original form of this prayer? Was it biblical Psalm 20, which God adopted and adapted to be used by polytheists, so-called paganized version? Or was the version in Amherst 63 the one more original and was later sanitized to make it more orthodox? Frankly, it is difficult to decide. But no matter what it was, just based on the collection of all those different Semitic prayers written down in Egyptian Demotic script, Babylonian prayers, the Syrian and Israelite from Samaria, with several mentioning even Judeans, we can glimpse a complex and quite inclusive religious scenery. Certainly, by the time it was copied in Egypt, in as late as the end of Persian period and the beginning of Hellenism, Jewish prayers, psalms, were part of a larger Middle Eastern corpus. They were collected, translated, copied together with other non-Jewish prayers. And even those clearly Jewish prayers were still not strictly monotheistic. They respected Middle Eastern cultural and religious milieu. Up until the 4th century before Common Era, our religious tradition was not as intolerant as the later developments and the biblical authors and editors would like us to believe. And that is something you might not know about the Bible. And that is something very few, if any, theologians would acknowledge.